Hi everybody, I'm Wadude Laird, one of the faculty members at the University of Spiritual Healing and Sufism. I've been asked to share with you my perspectives on what is Sufism, so that's an incredibly wonderful request that's been made of me, because Sufism is something that's very, very deep in my heart. Now, my Sufi name, Wadude, means it's the quality of God that is the love. And when I asked what this name means for me, when I received it, I was told by our guide, Sidi Muhammad al-Jamal, he said, Wadude is the one who brings the deep love of God to the people. So for me, Sufism is all about love. But let me back up a little bit to give you something of an overview. Sufism is the science of God's light. It's the science of how you take a life, or your life, from being led by your ego and by your habits and by your misconceptions that we all carry from childhood. And it's the journey of walking through very specific stations. Your heart and your soul and your spirit are guided through very specific stations to the point where your life is led by, really by the divine. So for me, it's the journey of a life led from the ego to a life not only guided by the divine, but where your life disappears into the divine. So it's not just about surrender to the divine, to God, which is a big deal, but it's about disappearing into the reality of God. And it's from this deep state of unity that one, in a sense, metaphorically returns to the world and gives to the world. And the question is, what do you give? So the other aspect of Sufism that I love is the recognition that every human being is born with a divine essence, an essence that's full of love and beauty and strength and wisdom and holiness and many, many, many other qualities. These are literally divine lights that are within our being. In Sufism, we say it's within the heart. It's within the deeper layers of the heart. And then, of course, what happens? Well, life happens. We're born, and we experience all the challenges that we go through as human beings, and nobody ever gets what they want, when they want it, and the way they want it, from whom they want it, right? So by the time we're 5 years old, even earlier, that natural beauty that we see in a newborn baby has gotten scuffed up a little bit, and we start developing an identity that's a false identity. The identity is based on our interpretations of who we are and who we aren't, and who other people are and who they aren't, and our identity around God. God's not there for me, or I've been abandoned, or I'm not worthy. All these false identities we start creating and living into. So what they've done on the inner planes is these cover over the natural essence or the lights of our own being. So Sufism is this beautiful process of purification and beautification. So on the one hand, the ego needs purification of what we call the qualities that don't really serve us: anger, envy, resentment, jealousy, separation, all these kinds of things. We all have them because we're human beings. But Sufism is this precious science of how you, in a gentle way, release these, what we call veils. At the same time, these lights or qualities within your own heart begin to illuminate. They begin to become more and more apparent to you and to other people. Now, that's why we say, there's a famous book called He Who Knows Himself Knows His Lord, or She Who Knows Herself Knows Her Lord. That once you begin to know yourself, these divine qualities within you, then you begin to also have more and more of a taste of a real experience of this indescribable reality we call God. So Sufism has been called the disappearance of a will within a will, meaning the ego will within the divine will, and the disappearance of a heart within a heart, or the individual love within the divine love. So this is a science and it's a science that's been protected for nearly 1,600 years. So as a medical doctor, right from the beginning when I was in medical school, I was looking for something I called transformation medicine. And nobody was teaching transformation medicine, even in the best medical schools in the country, I can tell you that. And the reason was because there wasn't real healing that was taught. So real healing is this process whereby the heart is purified, illuminated, and then out of it you become a full expression of who you are, and you return to the world to give from your own essence, from this beautiful basket of flowers that your heart carries. We call it your divine inheritance. So Sufism is discovering this inheritance and bringing it out to the world in a beautiful way.